It's the Dep Lewis Show. The Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. The Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. The Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show.
Welcome to the best show you'll ever know, the Dep Lewis Show, episode 78. This is your host, Dep Lewis, and today is Monday, May 27, 2024, a Memorial Day weekend podcast coming at you. Here on a Monday with no work at my normal job, so that's why I'm recording a day late here. And I missed you guys last week out there in the world. I was doing some traveling, so I skipped a week of the podcast, and I have a extra, excellent, informative, entertaining, hilarious podcast for you today, and that is the plan. So we're here on the Dep Lewis Show to talk about video games, and that's what we're here to do. So welcome to the show. Hope you're doing great out there in the world. And I want to get down to some business. So thank you for listening, but I'd like you to help me out a little more if you can by please following Dep Lewis Show everywhere. Like, subscribe, rate, comment, review, turn on notifications and tell a friend. Email any questions or feedback to DepLewisShow@gmail.com. Full episodes of Dep Lewis Show available anywhere you can find a podcast. So places like Apple Podcast, Spotify, Google, YouTube, Amazon Music, Patreon, and more. Clips are on YouTube and TikTok. Twitch.tv/DepLewisShow is a great place to follow. And then Patreon.com/DepLewisShow is the ultimate place to follow and gain access to exclusive content such as the Dep Lewis Freestyle Show. And I'll tell you more about this at the end. But for today's show, we're just going to have some standard operating procedure here for the Dep Lewis Show. We're going to have our three sections. The first section will be telling you about all the video games I've been playing, what I've been playing, what are my thoughts on that, and clue you in on a little bit of the things I like in the video game world. And then the mid section of the show is going to be video game news, video game happenings, all the things going on around the video game world that I find interesting and want to tell you about and keep you up to date and informed on. So the midsection today is going to be a lot of video game talk, more game releases and upcoming releases than news for this week. So we're going to talk about some games in the midsection. And then the final section of the show today is the Miscellaneous Talk section, as always, where I can talk about anything I want to outside of the video game world. And we're going to get into the worldwide world of sports and talk about all my favorite teams there and a bit of sad news for the Atlanta Braves. Might as well go say it here at the top of the show. Ronald Acuna Jr. has torn his ACL and is going to miss the remainder of the season. So that has been very, very sad over here. He's my favorite player on the planet and no longer going to get to watch him all the rest of the season. And just very, very sad and heartbreaking news. And we're going to talk more about that at the end. So just going to lead the way there with that. That's kind of what I'm just sad about that. It really, really stinks. So, thinking of you, Ronnie, out there in the world, and hope you can heal and be okay. So we'll talk more about that at the end, though. But Ronald Acuna Jr., some pretty bad and sad news for fans of that great baseball player. All right, so let's see here. Got to get back on track. Ronald making me sad here these last couple of days, or this last 24 hours. All right, so let's talk about what video games have I been playing. I got a lot to tell you guys about this week, so that's what we're going to get into. Let's get into the video games. All right, what have I been playing? So it's the year of the RPG on the Dep Lewis Show, and the primary game I'm playing right in that vein is Final Fantasy VII Remake. And this is not the game from this year, Rebirth. This is Remake. I'm still trying to push my way through it. I am in Chapter 16 now. So I finished Chapter 15 since we last talked. It was a climb. It reminded me some of The Last of Us Part 2 with the climbing. So you're going up and some pretty cool scenes overlooking all the rubble. So just pretty cool set pieces in Final Fantasy VII as always. Cool environments, and it's just really fun to walk around that world and then get into the combat. It's fun too. So what did I write? So they were climbing up this rubble. I wrote Cloud is a good guy to have around. He keeps saving the day, and he saved the day again with the grappling hook, helping Tifa and Barrett land successfully from that craziness. And then I made it to Chapter 16, where we're trying to infiltrate the Shinra Electric Power Company. So Chapter 16 is called The Belly of the Beast, and we're trying to infiltrate. So that is the part of the game I'm on right now. And I've been going up and down, up the floors of the Shinra Electric Power Company and making my way, trying to gain access and doing the things I need to do to get up to I forget what floor it is. I think it's up something around the 64th floor. I think that's where I'm at. I think there's maybe 70 floors or something. So I'm getting pretty close to the top and having some detours and departures on the way. But this game has been really, really amazing. I'm hopefully going to finish it in the next couple weeks. I don't know. I'm pretty close to finishing Chapter 16, and then I have Chapter 17 and 18 after that. So hopefully going to be completing this fairly soon, and this is a very fun game, and I'm going to really look forward to moving to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth right after, because I've only heard more positive things about it. But Final Fantasy VII Remake, I've been making some progress. Should have some more updates for you next week, and the year of the RPG is going swimmingly. I guess that's how you'd say it. It's been going great. I've been really playing and loving the year of the RPG, and I think, finishing Final Fantasy VII Remake is going to be one of the first RPGs that I've ever finished, so pretty exciting stuff. All right, so Final Fantasy VII Remake, you know where I'm at, and I'm hopefully going to be getting to the end of that soon, so I can move on to some new games for the year. Another game that is... This is another game I'm trying to finish before moving on to a new game from this year, and that game is Super Mario RPG. So I've been talking about this on the show for a while. I've been stuck at a part for this game in a while, and I finally have succeeded and moved past the part I was stuck at in Land's End, in the desert, jumping on that ant, the night ant, an ant in armor. I was jumping on his head and unable to move forward to the next section, but I finally figured it out. You jump on his head enough and get into battle with him, and then you can jump down his hole, and you can move into the next section that you need to go to. So I've been stuck on this section in Super Mario RPG for a couple months. It's not been like something I've been just beating my head at playing, but I've definitely booted it up a few times and been unable to surpass this. And I even looked up a guide, and I don't know what clicked yesterday, but I got in the game. I read a guide again. I tried the information, and it actually worked. So I made some progress in Super Mario RPG, which was really, really nice. And I'm hopefully going to see the end of that game sometime soon too. So I am on, there's 7 total stars, I believe is the case in this game. I've gotten the 5th star, so I'm looking at the 6th, and I need the 7th, but I'm really, really getting pretty close. I think I'm at least like 80% of the way through with this game, so hopefully I can get to the end of this at some point. I'm still really enjoying the combat in this game and the timing-based mechanics in the combat. The music and the graphics in this game are impeccable and really, really amazing. The game is still being very funny. That's one of this game's strong suits that I really like and really happy with. So that has continued on in this game. I think it's Monstro Town is the town I'm in right now. I had to fight this guy, and then he brought his sensei to fight me. It's this little tiny looking guy. Just very funny, had a lot of personality. And I showed them what's up, and now they're practicing the art of the jump, trying to be like Mario. So really, really cool stuff. A lot of personality in this game, and I think a really great remake. So I'm going to be excited to finish both of these RPGs. And those are two, I have the sequel for both of these games waiting right now. I have Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and there's been a new release in the Super Mario RPG kind of world, and that is a remake of Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door remake. Has been released this last week, so I've actually picked that up, and we're going to talk about that more in the midsection. But I have the next 2 games in these RPG entries ready to go. So I just need to complete the games, and I can move on to the next game and then be playing some games from 2024, which would be really nice. I haven't played too many 2024 games this year. But for the year of the RPG, I've been making some progress on Final Fantasy VII Remake and also making some progress on Super Mario RPG, if you can believe it. It's been pretty crazy. Finally got past the part I was stuck on. So year of the RPG, let's check in with that. So those have been the 2 games for the year of the RPG. And what else is going on? So year of the RPG, I want to complete Final Fantasy VII Remake and then move into Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I want to play Yakuza Like a Dragon into Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth is another game from 2024. And then the third leg is Super Mario RPG into Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door remake. So I wrote this leg is in question, and I'm going to delete that note because this leg is no longer in question. I am past the point I was stuck on. I'm feeling the groove, and I'm really looking forward to getting to Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door, which we're going to talk more about in the midsection. But so those are my year of the RPG plans, and the last thing is Baldur's Gate 3. If it goes crossplay, I'm going to try to play some with friend of the show and friend of real life Sanfi. There's also possibly some Persona 3, 4, and 5 in there, but I'm going to skip those for now to try to focus my efforts a little more on things that, the RPGs are long games in general, so I need to focus my efforts a little more on what I can do and what I can handle. So that is the plan here on the year of the RPG. So those are all my year of the RPG thoughts. Everything's going pretty well right now, and hopefully we'll have some more updates for you next week about those 2 games. So let's see what else I've been playing. So it's been 2 weeks since I've talked to you. I've been dipping and dabbling into some other games that I already own, getting back into some things, trying some things out as I always do, and I'm back around on some Elden Ring. So Elden Ring has a new Shadow of the Erdtree DLC, which comes out June 21st, 2024. It's a Friday, and maybe just the hype around that has been getting me back into Elden Ring some. I've tried this game a few times. It's a difficult game, not something generally I like to play because I am a noob. But it's been something. It's just, I don't know. I've always been kind of going back to Elden Ring. I like a whole lot about it. And I don't know. I'm just back trying it again. I created a new character. I'm still playing an astrologer. So I'm going for some magic as I usually like to do. And I've been putting points into intelligence and mind. And then some also in endurance and vigor. But mainly trying to rely on intelligence and mind. And really focusing on my magic attacks. I'm liking this game as I can jump in and do things right away. So I talk a lot of times about like podcast games or games that have, I don't know, different styles of games. And this is a really good one for just getting in and being able to do something. Even if you just load up the game and go around and collect some shrubs or just kill a few guys, you're going to gain some experience. You're going to see some cool scenery. It's just enjoyable for that. And you can even listen to a podcast. There is a way to pause Elden Ring. A lot of people think you can't pause Elden Ring, but you just have to go through a little bit of a few button presses to get into the menu, and there's a certain menu screen where you can pause the game, so that's something to look up. I don't know if I can explain it too well without looking at the screen, but look that up. There is a way to pause Elden Ring, so that's helpful. And this is just a great game to get in. You can play for 5 minutes, you can play for 2 hours. You're going to accomplish some things most likely and make some progress, and I've been just treating this game as just looking at it a little bit differently. It's a character builder, and you're using the world to level up your character, and that's all you're really trying to do. You're not going to be able to complete everything right away because you're a little bit of a noob, but if you're going to slowly build up your character, you're slowly going to get stronger. You can access more areas and they'll be less scary, so that's what I've been trying to do. So Elden Ring actually has been a little bit of a relaxation game, just to kind of jump in and mindlessly play and level up, and it's been really, really perfect for that. So I might be continuing to play some Elden Ring. I don't really have any strong case for like how much I'm going to finish, or I'm going to try to play the DLC. I don't think that's going to be the case. I really don't see myself getting that far, but I'm just really giving it another good shot at playing some Elden Ring. So what have I been doing? Will I stick with it? Who knows? I found the minor Erd tree, which is cool. So I've been finding some new stuff. I'm only 4 hours in on this playthrough, but I've been discovering and noticing some things that I haven't before, such as I don't know, it was really cool. The scenery changed at night one time. Everything was blue. All these little yellow orbs floating around the world looked really cool. I found that minor Erd tree. I don't know if I've ever found that before. I found this whole landmass to the south across this bridge. I found the map down there. Like, I've been doing some really cool things in Elden Ring. So Elden Ring is an excellent game. I think I can strongly recommend it really to anyone. It's just a great video game in general. I don't know if it's everyone's cup of tea, but I think this is definitely an excellent video game and worthy of a try by anyone, really. I think this can be a game that flips you to liking them, and there's going to be people that don't like it, just like with anything, but I think Elden Ring is an excellent video game, even as something that I haven't nearly seen all the content of or even close, but Elden Ring is something I'm back dipping and dabbling into, so I wanted to tell you about that. So I did. What else have I been playing? It's been 2 weeks. I've been trying some different things. I got a little bit back into Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. I don't know if I'm going to continue making progress there. Really just trying to hone in my video gaming likes and dislikes and what I'm capable of finishing and what I'm inclined to finish and things like that. So I don't know. I'm not putting too much pressure on myself for some of these things. Just trying them, jumping back in from here and there. And I think Elden Ring is going to be the one from this cycle that might stick around a little bit. So just want to keep you updated on that. I have played a little bit of some Zelda going on, and I think that's really been it for those. But the other games I've been playing, I've been playing my multiplayer games still. I've been playing more Fortnite recently than I have, which has been nice. I've been playing some solo Fortnite and enjoying it. I've been able to relax while playing this game a little more too, which I don't know if that's just I don't know if that's just I'm seeing these games through a different lens of, things going on in my life. I mean, that's the case. That's, you have your own experiences to bring to any of these video games that could have a factor on you liking them or not. But I think I've been doing a better job at just chilling out and playing these games. And even playing games that are stressful and relaxing and playing those, I think I've been doing better at that. So that's been nice. So I've been playing Fortnite, I've been playing solo, and it's been scratching a little bit of the third-person shooter itch. I've been doing some video game, what do you call it, a thought experiment, trying to see what games I've been playing in the last couple of years and mainly finishing. And I think it's pretty heavy into the third-person action, especially the shooters. Third-person shooters have been things that I've really been into. So game series like Uncharted, The Last of Us, Red Dead Redemption, And I'm sure there are more that I'm not thinking of, but I've really been I'm always thinking about my video game habits and things like that. And I like to try new things as well, but also trying to be realistic. And this podcast has really been helping me dive deeper into my likes and discoveries and things like that. So that's what I'm telling you about here on this show. So I've been back playing some Fortnite, and I've been back playing some Rocket League. So those have been pretty consistent. I've been playing Rocket League now I've been pretty consistent with that for probably half a year now of this run with Rocket League. So I've been having a lot of fun. I feel like I've been doing pretty good in Rocket League lately, so I'll pat myself on the back there a little bit. Most of the time I'm calling myself a noob, but I think I'm actually pretty good at Rocket League for the most part, and most of the time I feel like I'm helping the team or having some success there. So that is nice, and definitely is attributed to playing a lot of Rocket League. So Rocket League, a wonderful game. Fortnite as well. So I've been having some fun with some multiplayer. And the last thing I want to tell you about is a video game. This is a new entry into the Dep Lewis Show. I think I've mentioned this game once, and not with personal experience, but this is a friends of the show really love this game, and I'm going to talk about it now because I've played some, and that is League of Legends Wild Rift. So this is a multiplayer online battle arena mobile game developed and published by Riot Games for Android and iOS. This free-to-play game is a modified version of the PC game League of Legends. It initially released in 2020, and I'm going to give you some back-of-the-box talk on it. Team up with your friends and test your skills in 5 vs 5 mobile combat. All the high-skill competition you crave, designed especially for mobile and console with revamped controls and streamlined matches. Dunk on the competition with a giant sword, freeze enemies in their tracks with across-the-map ice arrow, or lure opponents to their doom with graceful charm. Whatever your style, there's a champ for you. Queue up with your full squad or see how high you can climb the rank ladder solo. Every game is a chance to land the perfect skill shot, turn the tides in a crazy team fight, or pull off that sweet pentakill, unless you are Pab playing with Merc, and that is an asterisk, because that is a bone to pick with those two, about Pab trying to get his pentakill. But this is a game that 3 of my friends play religiously and all the time, and try to get games in as much as they can. So I'm gonna throw my hat in the ring here and try to play some with them. And I've probably played maybe 3 or 4 games. I've been enjoying it. I've been getting some advice from my friends on what to do. So they have me playing a champion called Garen, Garen. He's a Juggernaut class. His position is solo or the Baron lane. His range type is melee. And I've been just trying to figure out what to do with this guy. This game there's a lot of champions. There's a lot going on the map. There's a lot of different lanes and strategies and characters and types and things they can do. So there's a lot to decipher in this game. And I'm lucky to have some guidance from my friends telling me what to do. So they have me playing Garen. So his abilities include Perseverance, which regenerates 2 to 5% based on level missing health every second and pauses if you get attacked. He also has Decisive Strike, which cleanses from all freeze slows and gains 35% bonus movement speed for 3 seconds. Also empowers next basic attack within 3 seconds to have an uncancelable wind-up, lunge at the target, deal bonus physical damage, and silence them for 1.5 seconds. Garen also has Courage, which gains incoming damage reduction for 4 seconds, also gains 60% tenacity for 1 second. He also has a move called Judgment, which rapidly spins his sword around, dealing physical damage to nearby enemies over 3 seconds, and will critically strike enemies hit at the edge. And Demacian, Demacian, Justice calls upon the might of Demacia onto the target enemy champion, dealing true damage as well as revealing them for 1 second at the start of cast time. Surrounding enemies also dealt 50% damage. So Garen is my guy right now. I'm playing solo lane, which is normally on the top, but sometimes the matches get mirrored and you'll be fighting down at the bottom. And I've learned that he has his 4 moves, and I need to be using the bottom move, which gives me a little boost, and I think powers up my sword. Go in, maybe slash with my sword, my big sword, maybe hit a spin, and then hit my shield to dip out and reassess my strategy. And then I have my ultimate for... I'm losing my train of thought here on my character, but I'm still trying to learn my character. I'm trying to learn the best order of operations for my moves, of what to do, and I need to get better. So I need to do a better job at hitting the champions, trying to poke at them a little more instead of just fighting the minions. And I need to work on not getting attacked by the minions is my plan from my friend League of Legends Wild Rift coaches. So I'm playing some Wild Rift. We'll see how long this is going to continue. I'm going to hope to keep up with it, maybe not go insane with it, but I'm really enjoying playing it. This is one of my first times playing a mobile game. I'm not really a huge mobile fan. I don't really like the controls for it too much, but it's been something I've been getting used to playing this, and I think the controls actually work pretty well. So I've gone through an ordeal this week of trying to maximize this this journey into Wild Rift. So I actually went and bought a backbone this week, which is a attachment for your phone that you can attach to it and hopefully use a controller. But I picked up the backbone, got it home, and then realized that Wild Rift does not even have controller support. So wasn't able to use it for that. So I left it in the box and was like, okay, maybe I don't need this. That was the main reason I was purchasing it, was to play some Wild Rift, but also I was happy to use it with Xbox Remote and PlayStation Remote. So I was like, okay, well, maybe I can use it for those things, and maybe it'll even be comfortable to hold, even if you're not using the buttons on it to play Wild Rift. But once I got the backbone and started using it, I just don't think it wasn't worth the price. So I actually ended up returning it. I used it for a little bit to try it out, and I think it's a fine product, but I don't think there's enough use case for me. If I was able to use it for Wild Rift, I would have kept it immediately. And then I tested out some remote play on my Xbox Series S and was having no luck with it. I even had it wired in, and I don't think it was getting good enough a connection or something. So I don't think that's going to be a sufficient way for me to play. And then it does work. It worked pretty well with PlayStation Remote. But that was really the only thing. So that would be really the only use case for it for me in that right now. So I ended up returning it, saving my money for another day, and just going to try to play some Wild Rift as people do, as everybody does. So, if everyone's playing that game and it's super popular, it must be okay enough to adapt to, and I'm sure I can as well. So that is my thought there. So I did buy the backbone. I don't think it's a bad product. You do have to pay a monthly subscription to use it. I think they give you a free month when you first buy the product, but then you have to pay for it. So I think it's relatively inexpensive, but still something that they don't advertise too great. And I really dislike paying monthly subscriptions for things. So that was something that was not good news once I found that out. So something to know about that backbone. It does have a monthly subscription. I think it can be $30 a year or like $3 or $4 a month. So relatively inexpensive, but still something else to think of. And I don't know. I don't know if you have to pay that, actually, thinking it might just be for using all the features, but they're definitely advertising it to you a whole lot and telling you about it. So it's just something to be aware of there on the backbone. So if you have any more questions about the backbone, email me at DepLewisShow@gmail.com, and I can tell you about my experience with it. So I've actually returned that. And what else? Yeah, I made one video game purchase after returning the backbone, and I'll tell you about that in the midsection. But that has been everything I've been playing. I've been playing a lot of stuff. I've been making some progress. I've been diving back into some old games. I've been trying out some new games. I even tried out some new hardware this week with trying out that backbone. But so it's been a pretty good couple weeks for video game stuff. So hopefully some of that information was useful to you and telling you about these games. So I've been playing Final Fantasy VII Remake and Super Mario RPG. Those are both going towards the year of the RPG on the Dep Lewis Show. I'm getting back into Elden Ring some, giving that another try, playing some Astrologer. I've been playing Fortnite and Rocket League. Those have been my two multiplayer games I've been consistently kind of keeping up with. And then I've started playing some League of Legends Wild Rift with the Rift crew. So Rift crew has been going pretty strong. I'm trying to get into that and trying to learn what I'm doing out there on the battlefield. So I talked about purchasing the backbone and returning that. So I told you some information there. And then it's the year of the RPG on the Dep Lewis Show. So I usually just talk about that here at the end of this section. Year of the RPG, we've already talked about Final Fantasy VII Remake into Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Yakuza Like a Dragon into Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, Super Mario RPG into Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door Remake, and then Baldur's Gate 3, if it ever goes cross-play or cross-platform play, I'm going to play some with the great San Fi. So that has been what I've been playing video game-wise in the last 2 weeks since I've talked to you. So that's going to wrap up this first section. You're going to hear some lovely break music. We're going to come back from the midsection of this show where I tell you about all the video game happenings, all the video game news, releases, and things like that you need to know out there in the video game world. So I have a lot of games to talk to you about in the midsection this week. Some have been released already, some are upcoming, so I want to keep you aware of what's going on in the video game world, and that's what I'm going to do. So go take a quick break and come back to the midsection of this show after this music. Welcome back to the midsection of the best show you'll ever know, the Dep Lewis Show, episode 78. This is the midsection where I tell you about what I've been seeing across the video game world. So what I've been seeing this week is a bunch of games. Some have been released and some are upcoming. So I want to put these on your radar and let you know about them. So that's the plan. So the first one here, I already mentioned in the first section, is something I purchased yesterday. And I made some progress on the first game, or I'm trying to complete another game before moving on to this. And this game I'm talking about is Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door. It's a remake of the game from the GameCube. This released on May 23rd, 2024 for Nintendo Switch. It is $59.99 US dollars. It's Nintendo Switch game voucher eligible. Nintendo Switch game voucher eligible as well. So if you want to drop $100, you can pick up 2 games from the Nintendo Switch game voucher list. And Paper Mario: Thousand-Year Door is one of those. So I've mentioned that I'm playing Super Mario RPG. I've been trying to complete that for a while, and I made some progress last week being stuck in this game. So my plan is to finish that and then move on to Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door remake. So very excited. I've been hearing a lot of great things across the internet about this. It's been reviewing very well. They've been comparing it to the Metroid Prime remaster, saying that they've taken an old favorite and really only done some improvements to it for the modern age, not changing up too much, but adding some nice things around the edges to make it a great product. So that's what I've been really hearing. IGN reviewed it very well. Logan Plant from IGN reviewed it very well and has been talking about it. So been a lot of good things, a lot of good sales pitches on the remake of Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door. So this is join Mario and friends on an epic paper adventure. A classic story unfolds on the Nintendo Switch system. This is 20 years after the original game on the Nintendo GameCube. This version for the Nintendo Switch system has revamped graphics, an updated soundtrack, and gameplay additions like updated quick travel pipes and a partner ring to swap characters in a jiffy. The X-Naughts are after the treasure behind the Thousand-Year Door. With a map from Princess Peach and the help of a few locals, Mario must journey through a colorful world made of paper to find it first. Surprises abound in this deep and engaging tale where everyone's got something to say, and it's often not what you would expect. Master your badges and timing-based attacks to impress the audience in a theatrical twist on turn-based RPG combat. Make use of all the abilities that come with being cursed or conveniently made of paper, like folding into a plane to cross big gaps or turning sideways to slip through narrow openings. So everything's been really seeming great from Paper Mario: Thousand-Year Door remake. It is something I played back in the day on the GameCube, maybe only 10 to 20 hours of. You know, the case of me, I'm falling off a lot of games a lot of times, but this is something I'm putting on a list. It's the year of the RPG on the Dep Lewis Show, so I have a plan to get to this and hopefully can complete it by the end of the year. Or hopefully complete it sooner than later, you know? I don't really know how long of a game it is. I'm guessing maybe around the 20 to 30 hour range. And I'm just excited. I really enjoyed, this game is very memorable from back in the day from playing it. It was one of the kind of first styles of game like this I actually played and tried out. So it's going to be a little bit of a full circle moment trying to play this again and hopefully completing an RPG right before it. So if I can complete Super Mario RPG, I'll be dancing in the streets, and then I'll be moving on to Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door remake, which is available right now. So go play it or download it or buy it for a friend if you would like to. All right, so let's get into some more games that have been coming out. This next one has been released as well. It's called Senua Saga Hellblade 2, so the sequel to Hellblade. This is an action-adventure game developed by Ninja Theory and published by Xbox Game Studios. So an Xbox exclusive here, not many of those. This game serves as a sequel to Hellblade's Senua's Sacrifice. So they've switched the name around. So the first game was Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice. This game is Senua Saga Hellblade 2. So I heard one theory that Hellblade doesn't have enough recognition, so they decided to switch it up and change the direction of it a little bit to try to get in new players. So they've added Senua Saga, and I think that's a pretty good theory out there. So this game serves as a sequel to Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice, and is set in 9th century Iceland, drawing inspiration from Norse mythology and culture. This released on May 21st, 2024 for Xbox Series X and S. It released for GeForce Now, which I think is a handheld device. I'm not 100% sure. Not really too familiar with seeing that listed on platforms, and also Microsoft Windows, and this is also part of Game Pass, so something to go check out there if you'd like to. And this game is also $49.99 US dollars if you want to pay straight up. And the back of the box talk is Senua returns in a brutal saga of survival, intent on saving those who have fallen victim to the horrors of tyranny. Senua faces a battle of overcoming the darkness within and without. Sink deep into the next chapter of Senua's story, a crafted experience told through cinematic immersion. beautifully realized visuals, and encapsulating sound. So this game, seeing some of the review coverage of this game has been interesting. I don't think it's something I want to play based on my just initial thoughts on it, and also after hearing and seeing some things. I'm not really hearing this as a bad game, but I'm hearing it is a specific thing. I've also heard the game looks beautiful, and I've seen some scenes and screenshots and video from it, and do agree with that. So I think it's visually impressive. I just don't know if the combat and the story and things like that are really going to hook me. It seems like a very grim story, very kind of gory and things like that, and the combat is I think kind of simple, but I don't know. This game looks very harsh. It doesn't look like something I would enjoy playing, but it definitely has a certain style of tone that it's going for, and I think it is nailing that. I've definitely heard a lot of positive things about this game. I think it could possibly have a little bit of like a cult following, more so than big mainstream success, and I think it's interesting they did it. I think it's interesting it's a Microsoft or an Xbox exclusive, and it's just not really a game that I think is going to appeal to the masses. So I think it's just a funny thing. I think Xbox is in a little bit of a weird scenario here, but nothing wrong with Ninja Theory putting this game out. I think it's been a while that this game's been in development. I just don't know where this game kind of fits into modern day gaming and the cycles and all that kind of thing. I don't know. Xbox have been blowing up studios, or I don't want to say blowing up. I guess that's a not a euphemism, but or I guess I don't know. That's the way you can say it. They've been getting rid of studios and shutting them down. So I think Ninja Theory is a little bit worried. I would guess having this game come out, I don't think it's going to be critically, or I don't think it's going to sell hotcakes, but I think it's critically reviewing pretty well. But I don't think that's good enough. I don't really know what's good enough for these big companies these days. And I don't think this was a cheap game to make. I just don't think it's going to have a huge audience. I think it's the problem. So, but the audience that is playing it and enjoying it, that's a valuable thing, and their enjoyment is important. So I don't know. I think the video game world is in a little bit of a weird spot, and maybe we'll talk about that on a further episode, kind of hash out my thoughts on that. And I think that's been a pretty common topic across podcasts and things like that these days, of the state of the video game industry. But it's a pretty negative outlook on there for the most part, but I think we're getting tons of great games. I just think some of these giant companies are not going to be making the best moves for consumers, and you can poke holes in a lot of things that they're doing. So I think a lot of these nitpicks are worthwhile and worth talking about and things like that. But Senua Saga Hellblade 2 out now. Don't think it's my cup of tea. It looks a little too dark and grim, and I don't know if there's any moments of reprieve in there, but I think it's nailing what it set out to do, and you should go check it out at least. So if you have Game Pass, definitely you can go play it, and just let me know what you think. DepLewisShow@gmail.com. All right, so those are two games that have been released: Paper Mario 1000 Year Door Remake and Senua Saga Hellblade 2. Those have been released in the last week. Well, I think that's the case. Yeah, Senua Saga was May 21st. So let's go back a little bit earlier in the month and in the year and talk about a few games that have been released that I've been hearing about and just want to tell you about. So the first one is called Crow Country. This is not something I think I would play, but I've been seeing people enjoy it and wanted to tell you about it. It's a survival horror game developed and published by SFB Games for PS5, Windows, and Xbox Series X and S. It is set in a visual style and design similar to PlayStation 1 horror titles, including Resident Evil and Silent Hill. The player is an investigator exploring an abandoned theme park. So I think it is cool that the throwback to PlayStation 1 era. Last year was the year of the survival horror on the Dep Lewis Show. I think I determined that I like some survival horror, but I'm generally a little too scared for them. And in certain circumstances, like The Last of Us, I can overcome that, but not a whole lot. So I haven't really played too many PlayStation 1 horror titles. I've never even had a PlayStation 1, so I don't know if I'm going to have the throwback love there, but I get what they're doing here, and I think it's interesting. So this game released on May 9th, 2024. It is $19.99 US. Sarah Pods is someone I watch stream and podcast and play, and she has been playing this on her Twitch some and really enjoying it. So I think she's a great person to go watch play some Crow Country if you'd like to. Sarah Pods, Sarah Podjorski. So go check her out. And let's see, to tell you more about this game, the creators of celebrated point-and-click murder mystery Tango Tower returned with a retro-inspired survival horror set in an abandoned theme park. The year is 1990, and Edward Crow, the owner of the Crow Country theme park, is missing. 2 years after he suddenly closed his park, a mysterious young woman called Mara Forrest arrives to explore the abandoned property and find its lost owner. Why did Crow really shut down the Crow Country, and what is Mara Forrest's connection to him? Play the game to find out. And you can explore a richly atmospheric and deeply sinister environment filled with engaging puzzles, memorable characters, and deadly aberrations. And if you'd prefer to experience the creepy atmosphere of Crow Country with no fear of being attacked, Exploration Mode gives you the option to explore and enjoy the unfolding story without combat. So I think if I was to play this game, that would be the way that I play. I think I am firmly in the camp of Exploration Mode on a lot of games, so if you think I'm a noob, then I'm a noob. Old and new combined with the look and game elements inspired by the survival horror greats of PlayStation 1 era. Use modern controls or opt for authentic traditional tank controls. So Crow Country, it seems like another great game that came out this year. There's games for all different price points and different genres, and this is one for $19.99. It's a survival horror game in a PlayStation 1 retro kind of style, so pretty cool. So go check out Crow Country, available right now on a few different platforms. So go check it out. Go check out Sarapod's playing it if you want to see some visuals on there. All right, another game to tell you about is something that came out earlier in the year. I heard the Min-Max show talking about this. It was Kelsey Lewin. I think Jacob Geller was playing this too, but they were talking about it on the Min-Max show, and I think it's interesting. Another one, I don't know if it's something I want to play or immediately jump into, but I think it's interesting and worth telling you about, and this was the first time I heard about it, so maybe this will be the first time you hear about it. And this game is called 1000 times Resist, so 1000x Resist. This released February 5th, 2023. I don't wonder if 2023 is correct. I don't know if that's correct. I think that's a typo on my part. Let's see. I'll Google it live here on the show. 1000 times Resist. It's got to be 2024. Well, it says last year. So who knows? Maybe it just came to Switch. Maybe I'm really late on this, but I'm just going to mention this quickly then. So I guess that's right. This is developed by Sunset Visitor and published by Fellow Traveler. $19.99 US as well. And I heard about this on the Min-Max show. A society of clones is ripped apart by a 1,000-year-old secret. I think the story and stuff on this game sounds pretty cool. This is a 3-time IGF, which is the Independent Games Festival Award-nominated game. It's a thrilling sci-fi adventure 1,000 years in the future. Humanity is all but extinguished, and a disease spread by an alien occupation keeps the survivors underground. You are Watcher. You dutifully fulfill your purpose in service of the All-Mother until the day you learn a shocking secret that changes everything. So we're talking about 1000 times Resist, the video game. In the near future, a mysterious alien race of giant entities arrives. We call them occupants. They are not hostile, but it doesn't matter. Their arrival is a death sentence. Humanity is wiped out in a matter of months, succumbing to a disease the occupants have brought to our planet. A teenage girl called Irish, maybe it's Iris, but is the only survivor. Somehow she is not only immune, but also becomes immortal. What a turn of events right there. 1,000 years later, Iris has birthed a new society consisting exclusively of her clones. She calls them sisters. They call her the All-Mother. They live safe in the orchard, an underground bunker, while Irish... I wrote Irish this time. Let's see. Yeah, Irish wages war on the occupants. But all is not well. Your closest sister, Fixer, comes to you with a dangerous revelation. You have been lied to. The All-Mother is not what she claims to be. After Fixer is executed for treason, it falls on you to discover the truth. So definitely a cool setup for a video game there. The $19.99 price point is very good. I've heard it's a mix of Nier and something else they said was very positive. So I think it's a really cool entry. It could be a cool little bit of a sleeper hit here. I guess it came out last year. I don't know if it just had a new release this year on a different platform, but 1000 times Resist is a video game that's out there. Definitely seems cool, and I wanted to tell you about it here on the show since that's my first time hearing about it in the last week too. All right, so we got some more games to talk about here. Some more little bit of quick hitters here at the end, but I want to keep you aware of some of these games out here in the ether and in the world. EA Sports College Football 25 has a release date of July 19th, 2024. It's going to be $69.99 for the standard edition. I think this game has been away for like a decade or something like that, so finally coming back. Hopefully going to be a great entry into the series. Something I could see myself playing. I have a pretty good affinity for college football games back in the day. It used to be kind of the thing. We didn't, back in my day, we didn't have this flow of video games to multiple platforms all the time. So a lot of times in the year, you'd be looking over the summer. You wouldn't have really a hot new game that you've bought in a while, and you'd be like, hey, college football's coming out a month before Madden. I'm going to buy this. Sometimes you'd buy college football back in the day. You'd buy it. You play it until Madden comes out, and then you trade it in to get Madden. And they would give you like an extra little boost or give you half the price of Madden and stuff like that. Like it was a very common thing and a nice little practice back in the day. So just kind of cool to see these things come back around. I could see myself getting into this. If a couple of my friends wanted to buy it, especially two, we could get a team together or play some matches. I think it could be a fun kind of party game, kind of a fun thing for people of all ages, newcomers, or people who have played these back in the day to get back into. So really, really cool. EA Sports College Football 25 is releasing on July 19th, 2024. All right, so we got an announcement last week for Call of Duty Black Ops 6. This has been announced, and reveal info is set for, they're going to talk about this game more June 9th, 2024 at the Xbox Showcase for 2024. So they revealed this through a teaser video, and it's rumored to release October 24 for Xbox, PlayStation, and PC. Microsoft now owns Activision and the Call of Duty franchise, but new releases like Black Ops 6 will still continue to launch as multi-platform, and they're touting this as a dark new chapter of the Black Ops series. So I think Call of Duty is in a little bit of a show and prove moment. I think their last two entries have been a little bit mid or weak sauce. So I think the return of Black Ops could be pretty cool, and I don't know. I don't know if my Call of Duty days are over. I don't know if it's been because of the games or if it's been because of my own self. I've definitely played a lot of Call of Duty in my lifetime, and some of my favorite games of all time are Call of Duty games. But it's just been something that I haven't really been into. I don't know if it's just a matter of me getting older, not playing as many shooters, blah, blah, blah. Could be a whole big factor of things. But hey, Call of Duty's coming back at the end of the year, and going to try with another Black Ops game, and maybe I'll be trying it out. You never know. All right, so Call of Duty Black Ops 6 coming out later in this year. Going to give us some more info in June 9th at the Xbox Showcase. Those showcases are coming in hot, so I think we have one more week in between, then we're going to finally get some of that information, so it's going to be a great time for the Dep Lewis Show. All right, let's see here. 3 more games I want to tell you about, so lock in for 3 more games, and we'll get you through this midsection with all the information you need to know. So another game that is rumored to be revealed at the 6/9/2024 Xbox Showcase is Doom: The Dark Ages. So id Software's legendary first-person shooter series' next installment has been previously known under the codename Year Zero. It is rumored also to take place in a medieval-inspired Doom world, so I think that's interesting. It could potentially serve as a prequel to sorts of 2016's Doom and 2020's Doom Eternal. So multiplayer inclusion is also unknown at this time, but this is rumored to be revealed at the Xbox Showcase. So 2 things we know they're talking about could be some Call of Duty and some Doom. So some first-person shooter franchises getting back to the forefront, and maybe getting back to the forefront of my mind. I don't know if I'm a huge Doom guy. I've tried the one from 2016 and like some of it. I like the kind of quick gameplay, but I just don't know if some of the gory kind of stuff is what I'm into. And even a first-person shooter campaign, I don't know if that's something I'm into these days, and that's the whole crux of this game. But I think they do a good job with these, and Doom is a franchise loved by many, and I just wanted to tell you about that. So Doom: The Dark Ages rumored to be released at that Xbox Showcase coming up, so I guess we'll be getting some trickle of rumors up until that showcase actually happens, and I'll bring them up to you here on this show. Might as well. All right, so what else do we got here? Tell you about 2 more games. This one actually has a release date, so that is Assassin's Creed Shadows. This release date would be November 12th, 2024. It's going to be $69.99 US for the standard edition. It's developed by Ubisoft Quebec and published by Ubisoft. It's going to release for PS5, Xbox Series X and S, Microsoft Windows and Mac operating systems. Embark on a huge new adventure set in feudal Japan. Become a lethal shinobi assassin and a powerful legendary samurai as you explore a beautiful open world in a time of chaos. Switch seamlessly between 2 unlikely allies as you discover their common destiny. Master complementary playstyles, create your shinobi league, customize your hideout, and usher in a new era for Japan. So Assassin's Creed Shadows, another try at that. I think the setting in Japan will be pretty cool, but I don't know if Assassin's Creed is something that is really pushing the boundaries of video gaming or changing up their formula too much. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. I don't know if the setting change is good enough to get Assassin's Creed really back on the map, but I think these games probably sell pretty well. Probably have a pretty dedicated fan base, but I think they just kind of have a low ceiling at this point on how great they're going to be. But they could prove me wrong, but that's my general take on it if I had to guess. But Assassin's Creed is a franchise I've enjoyed over the years, definitely more in the past than recently, and I don't know, I think it'll take a really, really great release and a lot of people really hyping it up and talking about it for me to get back into it. I don't really know what kind of new stuff they could do in it besides just making a good Assassin's Creed game, but they're always something. I do think about them from time to time. They're fun open worlds, kind of like I was talking about Elden Ring earlier. They're fun to jump in and walk around and do some things. And I just don't know if Assassin's Creed is... I don't know. I just don't really know my thoughts on it these days. I think it's in a little bit of a weird spot. So Assassin's Creed Shadow releases November 12th, 2024. The last game I want to tell you about has been something that's been... I think this is rumored. I think there's like a store page for it. I've never really heard about it until last week, and that's Dragon Age Dreadwolf. So the Dragon Age franchise hasn't had an entry in a while. I really had fun with some of those early games, and I would be interested to see what they're doing with modern day Dragon Age. So this one's called Dragon Age Dreadwolf. A full reveal is coming summer 2024 is what they're saying. A threat looms in Thedas. And Thedas, Thedas. Only back of the box talk we have at the moment. This is reportedly due before end of the financial year, so March 2025, I believe, is when that would be. They've said we have 2 unannounced titles in fiscal year 2025, 1 partner title expected in Q4, and 1 owned IP title. So EA said that in an earnings slide, and that is apparently Dragon Age Dreadwolf. And this is going to come out for PlayStation, Xbox, Steam, and Epic Store, is what I've seen online so far, but not a whole lot of details. I think they really need to come back with... I think it's a tough case. I think they really got to do something there with Dragon Age. I don't think they can just come with some mediocre game. I think it's been too long of a time. I think they need to innovate a little bit and put their own positive spin on this style of game, and I think they have a lot to prove there. So that would be what I say about Dragon Age Dreadwolf, and I guess we're going to get some more info about it over the summer. Like, we're going to get a lot of information over the summer. So really looking forward to that, and we're only a couple weeks away from all those types of announcements. So that's going to wrap up the midsection of the show this week, telling you about a bunch of video games that have been out and they're coming out. So just want to recap those names once again. Paper Mario 1000 Year Door Remake is out now. Senua Saga Hellblade 2 out now. We talked about some prior releases that are available. Crow Country, 1000 Times Resist. Then we talked about some upcoming releases like EA Sports College Football 25, Call of Duty Black Ops 6, Doom the Dark Ages, Assassin's Creed Shadows, and Dragon Age Dreadwolf. So those are all the video games I want to tell you about, and hopefully you found something in there that you thought was interesting. So that's going to wrap up all the video game talk for this show this week. We have one final section of the show still coming up, which is the Miscellaneous Talk section, which is going to come up after this short break. So just thank you for listening to this video game talk. We're going to hear some music, and we're going to come back for the final section of this show, the Miscellaneous Talk section, after this music. Welcome back to the final section of the best show you'll ever know, Dep Lewis Show, episode 78. This is the Miscellaneous Talk section where I can talk about anything I want to outside the video game world. And I want to get into the worldwide world of sports today. We're going to keep it kind of short and sweet because it's been a sad week for me in the sports world. And we're going to talk about that in just a second. But we're going to keep it short and sweet, go through the rundown, and we'll tell you about all my teams. So Carolina Panthers, it's the off season right now. I'm seeing some good Xavier Legette videos out there and some good JC Horn videos too. So some good positive vibes. I'm hoping Bryce Young can be better in his second season, and hopefully some of these weapons around him will pan out and they can mash things up and have some success. So hoping for some success there as the Panthers. We're getting a little bit closer to, regular offseason stuff, and you've seen some videos out there, seeing some catches and things like that. So it's been nice to see. So Carolina Panthers, official NFL team of the show. Official NBA teams of the show, Atlanta Hawks are my favorite team, and I'm a de facto Charlotte Hornets fan now too, since I live in North Carolina and can go to those games pretty regularly. The Charlotte Hornets have the 6th pick in the upcoming NBA draft. That's the news to report there. And the Atlanta Hawks have the number 1 pick in the upcoming NBA draft and are a little bit on trade season watch for Trae Young or DeJounte Murray. So I don't really know what's going to happen there. I am just waiting for another breakup of a player that I like a little bit. I don't think they're going to work out the Trae and DeJounte thing. So I'm interested to see what's going to happen and what they're going to do with the first pick. Who's going to get shipped out of town? Who's going to get brought into town? And I don't know what their plan is. So I'm excited and interested to see that. And we'll be looking forward to that. And I don't know when the NBA draft's coming up. That'll probably be something I'll look up for next week and can tell you about. Should be coming up relatively soon now that we've had the lottery. But I guess it's shortly after the NBA playoffs, which the finals, I think, would be over around the 20th of June, 23rd, something like that. So maybe like a month out from the draft or something like that would be my guess. But for the Miscellaneous Talk section today, the sports world, we're going to talk about the Atlanta Braves, my favorite team, and had a pretty major injury yesterday, or it was a major injury of my favorite player in the universe. Ronald Acuna Jr. has torn his ACL and just stinks. Very sad about it. Had to miss Ronnie almost a whole season, a couple seasons ago when they were on the World Series, and just had the most fun watching him play. It just stinks. So obviously I'm a little sad about it, and that's it. So I want to report on that. Poor Ronnie tore his ACL. It was hard to watch. It was a non-contact. He was rounding the base, going from second to third. I think he was trying to decide to go to third or not. Went back second, and he just kind of collapsed to the ground, and he walked off the field, which is good. But we've seen Kobe walk off and things like that, and had the MRI. Ronnie said he didn't hear the pop, but his ACL's torn, and I think this is the opposite leg of the one he's already had the injury on. So just sad news for Ronnie, and sad news for the Braves. And that's it. Hard to talk about. So let's see. Prior week that I missed, the Braves, they've been a little up and down. Last week, not the most recent week, the prior week, they won Monday and Tuesday against the Cubs in Atlanta. Lost Wednesday. They lost to the Padres 3 in a row, Friday through Sunday in Atlanta 3 times. That was bad news. They won the makeup game against the Padres from Thursday on Monday, May 20th, 3-0 in Atlanta versus the Padres. And then the past week, they've been playing the Cubs. They won 2 out of 3 against the Cubs. And they lost. They've been losing against the Pirates. So they lost Friday, lost Saturday. And they beat the Pirates yesterday, but they lost Ronnie. So next week, the Braves are at home versus the Nats, Monday through Thursday. And Friday through Sunday in Atlanta versus the A's. So, all right, I'm going to quit talking about that. So, shout out to Ronnie. Hope you're doing okay. And hopefully we'll see you back on the field and healthy next year. That's the plan. So, hopefully the rest of the Braves will hold it down. All right, so that's going to wrap up the show. Sorry for being sad about Ronnie. But that is what it is. All right, so that's going to wrap up the Miscellaneous Talk section of the show today. We talked about the Carolina Panthers, the Charlotte Hornets, the Atlanta Hawks, and the Atlanta Braves. And all the thoughts and prayers and things like that go to Ronald Acuna Jr., still my favorite player in the universe. And I'll be missing watching you play. So shout out to you, Ronnie. So that's going to wrap up the entire show this week. Been another great episode of the Dep Lewis Show. And just thank you for listening, as you always do. I want to reiterate some promotional stuff from the beginning, just to help me out here, more so than just listening like you always do. Please follow Dep Lewis Show everywhere. Like, subscribe, rate, comment, review, turn on notifications, and tell a friend. Email any questions or feedback to DepLewisShow@gmail.com. Full episodes of Dep Lewis Show available anywhere you can find a podcast. So places like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, YouTube, Amazon Music, Patreon, and more. Clips are on YouTube and TikTok. Twitch.tv/DepLewisShow is a great place to follow. And then patreon.com/DepLewisShow is the ultimate place to follow each week. I'll tell you a little bit more about that right now. Patreon.com, it's $1 a month right now for the ground floor tier for the first 100 patrons only. With this tier, you will gain access to an additional podcast exclusive to Patreon called the Dep Lewis Freestyle Show. This is the podcast without a plan that has a freestyle schedule, but it's a great way to get additional content and support the show. So after the first 100 patrons, the regular price for this tier will begin. Ground floor tier pricing will never change and will gain access to all Dep Lewis Show Patreon content always. So just thank you for the support. Thank you for interacting with any of my content or listening to anything I got to say. I hope it's entertaining. I hope it's informative. And I hope it is something that you listen to week after week after week after week. And just thank you for listening. I hope you have a great week out there in the world. Happy Memorial Day weekend to you. Hopefully you're not working today for listening in real time. And I'm going to be back next week. So, shout out to everyone. Shout out to all the video games. Shout out to Ronald Acuna Jr. And I'll be back next week for another episode of the Dep Lewis Show. See you then.